Namah Shreyati Vivekananda Suraye Satchit Sukha Swarupaya Swamine Tapaharine Swamine Tapaharine.
Namaste, sir.
Namaste. We will start in a minute or so.
Sir, may I ask a question?
Yes.
So, the last class we were discussing, you were discussing about Haritaki, right? Haritaki, like, how does it work? Does it increase the peristalsis, or I don't think it increases bulk because it's given a small amount. How does it work?
Yeah. See, the Ayurvedic understanding is it's not just working by stimulating peristalsis. It collects the metabolic wastes from the whole system,
Okay.
and then it brings to the coast. Of course, it will also stimulate the peristaltic movement, but that is not the only thing. But that is something which just removes what is there in the intestine. The Ayurvedic concept is that Haritaki is not just removing things from the intestine.
Mhm. Is it safe in old people,
No,
elderly?
it is very ruksha. It cannot be given alone in old.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
The problem with Haritaki is it is very ruksha. It is good for kapha and but it is of course ruksha guna. It can reduce the saumya dhatu. So in old people, it's not cannot be given alone. Combination we can do.
Yeah, because I have an old lady, like she is about 80.
Yeah.
According to
So we
low,
have to be
yeah,
very careful.
yeah. Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yes. So the just continuing with that question, I told you that according to Ayurveda, we don't look at Haritaki as just a laxative or purgative. It has got rasayana properties also. So it can regulate lipid metabolism. It is involved in scavenging old cells. So that many studies have happened. Along with that, it is also stimulating the bowels to move. It is believed that, because I was just thinking what you were asking, that the Haritaki is stimulating the smooth muscles of the colon, ileum and jejunum, thereby facilitating the uh, laxative action. But that is only one part of Haritaki. So if you look antioxidant effect, anti-hypercholesterolemic effect, apoptosis of cells, cancer cells, so many effects are there, which is why Ayurveda said Kritva Pakam Malanam Yat. It does the paka of all the metabolic waste throughout the system. Then, final action is the expulsion from the body. So I hope that point is clear. So let us continue with our discussion. We were looking at, the essential herbs that Vaidyas used to make available and keep. And if you look at that, we looked at the groups of roots and fruits, 16 roots and 19 fruits, and we found that they are used for three types of cleansing: the cranial cavity, the thoracic cavity, and the abdominopelvic cavity, through the process of Shirovirechana, through the process of Vamana, and through the process of Virechana. So here you can bring some modern knowledge of anatomy also to explain, without distorting the Ayurvedic way of understanding the concept of the cavities. Three cavities. The cranial cavity you can access only through Nasya. So whatever you do, Vamana or Virechana, it doesn't reach the cranial cavity. So from the cranial cavity, all the three doshas have to be removed, but it predominantly that is also the location of kapha. So you can say that if you especially want to remove kapha, you can do that. But it is intended when for all the three doshas, we change the type of medicine, the type of procedure, pradhamana nasya or churna nasya or brahmana nasya, different types of nasyas are there. So here it is not nasya. Nasya is any medicine applied through the nose. Here the term Shirsha Virechanam or Shiro Virechana is only one type of Nasya. All Nasyas are not Shiro Virechaka. Like for example, if you do Chirabala Nasya, it is a Brahmana Nasya. It's not a Virechaka Nasya. So these distinctions are very, very important. So yes, when I hurriedly read the slokas day before yesterday, the Anvaya was, there was an error first. So it is a Shodashekona is to be, that Ekona is to be added to Vimshati. So it is 19 fruits and 16 roots. So that part is clear. Alanya Ekona Vimshati. So this much we studied. Now we have the great Sneha, Sarpistailam Vasamajja, Sneho Dishtas Chaturvidhaha. So four types of Sneha are mentioned, Mahasnehas, and these are used in Ayurveda very widely for various treatments. Anabhyanjana Vastyartham Nasyartham Chaiva Yogada Snehana Jivana Varnya Balopache Vardhanaha Sneha Hete Cha Vihita Vata Pitta Kaphapaha. So in Ayurveda, the concept is that the Purusha is Sneha Saraha. So after the cleansing is over, we have to strengthen the body. And that strengthening is done by giving the Snehatva. See, our body is a mixture of water and fat. I think I mentioned this. So we have lipophilic and hydrophilic, or lipophobic and hydrophobic substances. Because our whole interior water is like a mixture of oil and water. And the core is oil, fatty medium. That is why Sushruta Sneha Saroyam Purushaha. And this requires some explanation why in Ayurveda the Snehas are given so much importance and why we consider the person as Sneha Saraha. Today there is so much of fear of fats, cholesterol and all those things. So we are becoming sometimes paranoid, avoiding all types of fats. And this we need. See, Ayurveda also tells that unhealthy increase of medas is harmful. But Ayurveda also says Sneha Saroyam Purushaha. So it all depends on how we use the Snehana. One is for Sneha, Ama of Sneha is very, very dangerous. That is, if Medas is not properly metabolized, then it becomes very harmful for the system, causes obesity and other things. So the first and foremost condition inside the body is that your Agni should be strong enough to assimilate the Sneha. Otherwise, we cannot use Sneha. Agni should be strong. Pakveshu dosheshu amridam tad vishopavo manyatha. That is what about ghee is mentioned in Ayurvedic texts. So today, why fats are creating problems is because of our Agni problem. We are using fats when our Agni is not strong enough. So it's not metabolized properly and it leads to buildup. This is the first thing. Today we are getting many diseases like demyelinating diseases, Alzheimer's, dementia, especially as we age, is because our body is not supported by good Sneha. So Snehana is very essential for the protection of the Trimarmas according to Ayurveda, brain, heart and kidneys. The whole Trimarmas require proper Snehana because proper Snehana keeps Vayu in check and it can slow down aging. Proper Snehana slows down aging. So one factor I hope is clear. See, Sneha we say should be given Pana, Bhyanjana, Vastyartham, Nasyartham, Chaiva Yogada. So this is Chatush Prayogas. Through by internal intake, by external application, by Vasti and by Nasya. 4 routes in which oil is applied into the body. Can do it 4 ways. And especially Snehana by Abhyanga is considered to be very, very important. Ayurveda says we should do it every day. Abhyanga majare nityam sajara shrama vataha drithigarana manganam swapna sutvaktva dardhyakrit. So external Snehana, even today people are not objecting to it. But when I was a student, I heard some of my modern medical colleagues also said that there is no need for any such oiling. Body can produce its own, oil. But then why today so many moisturizers are being sold? One of the big market. If body was producing its own oil, why people are using moisturizers everywhere in hotel, everywhere in flights? A little change in weather and our skin becomes dry. So Ayurveda had recognized that, and it said by applying oil regularly, you not only moisturize your skin, you pacify Vata. Moisturizers cannot work on Vata; they will only work on skin. So dual problem is solved by skin moisturizing as well as both are achieved by the use of oil. Skin is moisturized as well as the Vata is also, neurological problems are also pacified. So regularly if you use oil, Vata problems are solved, skin is also preserved, aging is slowed down, and that is why this is included as an essential list of medicines. Sarpis Tailam Vasa Madja Sneho Dishtas Chaturvidha Panabhyanjana Vastyartham Nasyartham Chaiva Yogada. So these Snehana, Jivana, the Snehas are supporting life. Varnyaha, they bring the complexion of the individual. Balopachaya Vardhana, they bring strength, they enable growth. Sneha Hete Cha Vihita Vata, and they can pacify all the 3 doshas. So second problem with use of oils today, I also mentioned this earlier, is that we are using too much of processed oil. We are chemically treating it, hydrogenating it, and also cooking it. According to Ayurveda, Tila Taila is the best. Tailanam. Snehanam Uttamam Sarpihi. For internal use, ghee is the best. For external use, Taila is the best. But then according to seasons, we can change. If you want in very cold locations, Mustard oil is beneficial. Very cold, extreme cold conditions. Similarly, when very dry weather, coconut oil will be helpful, especially if you want to support the skin. And if there is inflammation and all that, coconut oil is better. Like if there is fungal infection, in such all conditions, coconut oil is better. But otherwise, generally speaking, tilatailam or gingerly sesame oil is good because it addresses both vata and the skin.
How long should it be left on the body?
It varies according to the season, weather, and all that. Ideally, we say after applying oil, a little sweating should happen. That is actually ideal. Generally, we say 20 minutes to 30 minutes. Too much of heat should not be trapped inside, also. Enough oil should be absorbed, and you will be able to identify it after few applications, because even after you wash away the oil, and oil should be washed away, should not be left. Many people, apply oil, then they just pour water. Abhyanga, vasti, nasya, and pana, drinking. There are the four routes. So many people, what they do is they will apply the oil and then simply pour water. The oil remains on the skin. This is very bad. Similarly, some bad practices are putting oil on the head at night and sleeping. This is not advised according to Ayurveda. Once you apply oil, you have to leave it for some time and then completely wash it away. Because what the body needs, it will absorb. If you keep the oil on the skin, the problem is that, yes, actually, yes and no. Yes, because in olden days, exercise was done on ground, on the mud. So there was no point in slipping and falling. No, because today we are inside buildings with slippery floors. So please don't exercise. I will be blamed for the Caraka-Saṁhitā course after you have an accident, break and fall and break your bones, and you will say, oh, this fellow's Caraka-Saṁhitā course has caused the problem. Please don't do that. I have seen that happening. Why in olden days, the Malla Bhumi used to be mud. It will be either cow dung, smeared ground, or mud. The kalari ground is also there, which is mud. So there is no question of slipping. You will get good grip on the ground. So people used to apply oil. Actually, oil removes the micro waste from your system through the process of inducing deep sweating. So we always say that you should apply oil before exercise. That is the correct procedure. But today's lifestyle in all these flats, our slope, very slippery, bathrooms also slippery. So I am very afraid to tell people to apply oil and even take a bath. Because if they fall in the toilet, the pipe, everything, they will break their head. So it's a new situation. In olden days, when Ayurveda advised, people used to go to the ponds after applying the oil. They don't go to a slippery, soapy bathroom. Now people will apply soap, and this will mix. If it is hard water, it will clog all the. So we have to find the solution. The benefits are better if you apply oil and then do exercise. And after that, sweating after exercise, you are supposed to tam kritva anusukham deham mardayetcha samantada. You must do a gentle massage. So then your microcirculation will improve, your tiredness, all that will go, you will get good sleep. So this was the procedure. First apply oil, then do some exercise, then do self massage. It's all self administered. And then you have a bath. So what, in Dinacharya, what we do is first immediately on waking up in the morning, what should you do? You may think meditation, prayer. No, go to the restroom, clean your bowels. That's the first meditation you have to do. Remove all the waste that had accumulated in the previous day and start on a clean slate. Antashuddhi, clean the stomach first. Then you brush your teeth, because oral health is depending on gut health. Today we are waking up and first brushing our teeth. According to Ayurveda, that is not correct. First we have to uh, move our bowels. Brahme muhurta uttishtet jirna jirnam nirupayan rakshartham ayusha swastho jata vega samutsrajet. Pravartayet prachalitam natu yatna dudirayet. So, Ayurveda is a medical which tells you whatever things you have to do every day in your life, waking up, going to the toilet, brushing your teeth, cleaning your eyes, everything is described. It is telling you how you must live your life. And I will tell you the principles. First is everything starts with the gut, because gut health is the foundation of your actual health. So if Jirna Jirnam Nirubayan, he is not telling whether you wake up thinking about whether the food you took last evening was digested or not. Because if Agni is problem, then your whole day is a problem. You are building the foundation for disease. Keep your Agni strong. Then you can prevent all disease. Immune system, nervous system, everything will function. So once you remove your bowels, move your bowels, then you come and do brushing the teeth. Because now oral health is dependent on gut health. Make sure you clean your gut first and then your mouth. After that, what you do? You clean your eyes. After cleaning your eyes, you can see when you put oil in the medicine in your eyes, it will come to your nose. So next you have to clean your nose. Anjanotkleshidam nasir kavalair navaneritam. Anjanotkleshidam nasir. You are applying anjana in your eyes, and the mala, that is the waste that is stimulated by anjana, nasyehi. By applying oil in the nose, you clean it. Then what will happen? A lot of these secretions from nose and eyes will come to your mouth. Kavalair navaner, then you have to gargle in your mouth. So 2 times you have to cleanse your mouth in the morning. One is by brushing the teeth and the other is by gargling. Then now what has happened? Your internal channels have become clean, and then your sense organs are now activated. You're ready for the next day. Cleaning the eyes, nose, mouth, and all that. Then ears also you will apply. That will be done when you are applying oil. Now once this internal cleansing has happened, you are asked to apply some oil. The right time for applying oil is when you are feeling a little hunger. That is the right time to apply oil. Never apply oil on a full stomach. It's very harmful to apply oil on a full stomach. When slight hunger, ajat jatanna panecho marudaghnei sugandhivi. That is what Ashtanga Sangraha tells. Jatanna panecha. When you are having that desire for eating, you're feeling a little thirsty and hungry, don't wait for the hunger or thirst to become very strong. So when it is just mildly coming, that is because that time all your channels, Agni, everything is open. Applying oil after a meal is very, very harmful. And morning application or late evening, in the middle afternoon after 9 a.m., it is better not to apply any oil. Should be done early in the morning. Then you apply the oil and do some little exercise if you have good place to do it. Eyes are cleaned by Anjana. Anjana is a collyrium. Simple ways to make collyrium daily is you can take a strip of cloth. There is a plant called Sahadevi. It is Vernonia cinereum. In Kerala, it is called Puvang Kurundil. I don't know what is the name in other states. It's widely available. Take this plant, make a juice of it, and dip a piece of cloth in that juice and make it dry. Then roll it into this is a simple way of making a collyrium. Then you make it into make it into a varti, or what you can say, a suppository like. Then mix it in castor oil. Castor oil is very good. So mix it in castor oil and then burn it. As you burn it, the black ash will be collected. That's a smoke. Burn it and collect that smoke, and that is mixed with castor oil. And that black soot you can apply in the eye. It gives a darkness to the borders of the eyes also, and then it is also very cleansing. Once in a fortnight or once in a week, once in a fortnight is enough. There is another medicine, you can get it. These are things which you could try. This is part of daily preventive medicine. Any cotton cloth is good enough. So there is Ilanir Kurambu. Ilanir Kurambu is it's a strong cleanser, but be careful. You will think your eyes is on fire. Some of you may not be able to do it. If you apply this, your eyes will burn. But then afterwards, it will give a cooling effect. At the first, immediately on applying, there will be a burning sensation, and there's a lot of tears will come, and then it will cool down. This is also very good for preventing a lot of problems with the eyes, also preventing cataract. But it should not be done daily. You can do it once in a week, 10 days, or once in 15 days. The rest of the days we can apply the other, Anjana. Anjana is otherwise called as salve or collyrium. Don't use the synthetic substances that we are getting today. It's not so healthy. Olden times, as stone, antimony was used. But that, if you are not careful with that, it can be toxic. So it's better not to. Nowadays, we are recommending these herbal preparations. So after that, you do the Vyayama. Then what happens is you have cleansed your colon, you have cleansed your sensory channels. Then you open up your sweat pores. Opening up the sweat pores every day is necessary. Some sweating should happen every day through exercise. So when you exercise, you must exercise to the point that you are sweating a little bit. Otherwise, there is no use. Up to the point of a little sweat happening, you must do it. And then have a bath. So Abhyanga is a part of our daily Snehana program, and that is why this is explained here. Sarpis Thailam Vasa Majja Snehodishtas Chaturvidha, out of which Sarpis and Thailam, Snehanam Uttamam Sarpihi. Amongst all the fats, ghee is considered the best, followed by Thailam, then Vasa and Majja. Vasa and Majja are used only in really clinical conditions. It's not used regularly in Swasthavritta. In some very severe diseases, they may need to be used. But otherwise, Sarpi and Thailam are what's commonly used. Now, next, the salts are mentioned. So, you can see a sequence here. Mulinya and Phalinya are for cleansing the system. So, that's cleansing. And the Snehas are for nourishing the system. Right? Then we come to the Lavanas. Lavana is interesting because to help the oil to penetrate into the body, little lavana is needed. Lavanas are very, very important. A little salt is always very helpful. Used in moderation, salt is necessary because salt is part of the body's sodium potassium pump. So adequate daily requirement we have to meet. Savarchalam Sainthavam cha vidam audhidameva cha samudrena sahitani panchasyur lavanani cha snigdhani ushnani tikshnani deepaniya tamani cha आलेपनार्थे युज्यन्ते स्नेहस्वेद विदौ तथा अधोभागोर्ध्वभागेषु निरूहेषु अनुवासने अभ्यञ्जने भोजनार्थे शिरसश्च विरेचने शस्त्रकर्मणि वर्त्यर्थम् अंजनोत्सादनेषु च अजीर्ण अनाहयोर्वाते गुल्मे शूले तथोदरे उक्तानि लवणानि. So you can see lavanas are used in multifarious ways. Although we use only a little, its utility is very, very wide. 5 types of lavanas are mentioned. They are all snigdha and ushna, and they are tikshna. Why they are used? They are very deepaniya. You can see if you take a little salt. That is why when we are eating junk food, we eat a lot of salt also, because it stimulates the digestion and appetite. Deepaniya tamani. Deepaniya tamani means it is best amongst the substances which will induce deepana. So lavana rasa is also very, very important for getting taste. No. Anjana is to be done. That is for therapeutic anjana sometimes. But anjana is done as part of dinacharya. You please read dinacharya part. Sauviram anjanam nityam hitamakshanas tato bhajet. Chakshus tejomayam tasya visheshat shleshmato bhayam. So this is mentioned in dinacharya. Dinacharya, after the brushing of the teeth, it is told anjana. So not at night. Part of dinacharya, it is to be given in the morning itself. It's done in the morning, followed by nasya, and then followed by kavala. So it is said that Sauvira Manjanam Nityam Hitamakshanos Tato Bhajet Chakshus Tejomayam. Chakshus is Tejomayam. Tasya Visheshat Shleshmado Bhayam. If too much of kapha comes into the eyes, then it will block vision, it will cause problems. So you must keep your eyes clear. That is why the Anjana is advised every day. And also in the morning, because before you enter into the external world, you are preparing your eyes. Today, especially because we are abusing our eyes by sitting in front of computers, continuous, prakasha, continuous exposure to light. All this is harmful for the eyes. So now coming back to salt, in small quantities it is deepaniya tamam. It is used alepanarthe yujyande snehasveda vidau. Yes, anjanas are available in Ayurvedic shops. Netranjanam is available. And our old kajal is also the same thing. It is anjana only. But now it has been made commercial. We have to be careful about the ingredients. It was done for dual purpose, for cleaning the eye and also as decoration. But that is usually used by women. Now, if men start putting kajal, it will look a bit awkward. Everybody coming out with black eyes. It's a bit funny. So it's better to use medical. So in Kerala, we are making it ourselves and doing it. Or some soothings. If you are today, if you are having continuous exposure to computer, Netranjana, Netramritam, these kind of drops are there. Netranjana is, I think, a more, that is from Kottakkal, is more expensive and it is used in treatment. Netramritam is like eye drops. Eye drops are called actually Ashchotanam. It's not exactly Anjana. But in my understanding, even Ashchodhana is helpful as part of Dinacharya. It's just that you give your attention to your eyes, nose, tongue. Tongue you do by scraping the tongue gently, cleaning, not harsh tongue cleaners. Should use very gentle tongue cleaners. And so you are, all your sense organs, then Karnapurinam, you are applying oil either around the ears, give some vata support to the ears, and this way it is done. Yeah, surma is also, I think, part of the same thing. That word is in Hindi. It is also, I think, the same as kajal only. It's called variously kohl, kajal, so many names are there. So, snigdhani, ushnani, tikshnani, deepaniya, thamani cha, alepanarthe yujyante snehasveda vidau tatha. It is used for application. It is used in snehana and svedana. Now there is something called a sadhya snehana. If you want to quickly induce vedana in a person, give sneha along with a little salt, and the body will absorb it very quickly. Adho bhaga urdhva bhageshu niruheshu anuvasane. It can be applied in all the parts of the body, in lower part, upper part. It can be given in niruha. It is actually part of niruha vasti. The vasti treatment we use, and all medicinal purposes, saindhavam lavananam is mentioned. Sauvarchala is rochana, more rochaka than saindhava. So for as appetizer. No. It is only a preventive, preservative thing. For treatment, there are different methods. We are not talking about treatment here. This is daily preventive maintenance. It will not cure any disease. It has a preventive effect. This is part of dinacharya. When you study eye diseases, there are treatments mentioned for various eye conditions. I am not going into that. So abhyanjane bhojanarthe. So you can see salts are useful in so many ways, but only a pinch of salt. Always use only a pinch of salt. Abhyanjane bhojanarthe shirasascha virechane. Even in nasya we are using salts. Shastra karmani vartyartham anjana utsadanесhu cha. Ajirna, when you have ajirna or when you have bloatedness, also many medicines are made in which salt is used. Gulme, shule, when in ascites. So for all these things, lavana is used. Since it is a multifaceted substance, it is mentioned in this collection here. The major medicines that any physician should have. So it is good to keep all these medicines. Then comes the mutraha. It's not so important nowadays. It's not possible culturally for us to use all these mutra. So I would say that we should look at what are the chemical compositions of these various urines and identify chemicals and substances that may be beneficial, and then try to see how they can be synthesized to make something which is easily usable in humans. This is not culturally any longer acceptable. But the fact that urines could also yield medicines cannot be overlooked. So that is the space. So we have to think of current life. Ayurveda Yuganurupa Sandarbha. Vagbhada said when he created Ashtanga Hridaya, I'm making Ayurveda Yuganurupa. So Yuganurupatum is very essential. How can we make Ayurveda as a Yuganurupa Shastra? So urines, we cannot now, you cannot tell people, okay, drink camel's urine, drink elephant urine. It's not possible. So urdhvam mutranyashtau dimodhame mukhyani yani dishtani sarvanya atreya shasane avimutram ajamutram, sheep's urine, ajamutram, goat's urine. As I said, in Ayurvedic practice today, for a few formulations, we are using goat's urine as well as cow's urine. So I already mentioned a formulation which uses goat's urine. Does anybody remember? Anybody remember? Villu Adigudiga, very good. So avimutram, aja mutram, go mutram, mahisham ched. Mahisham is from buffalo. Hasti mutram, elephant. Athoshtrasya, camel. And then hayasya cha kharasya cha, horse's urine and donkey's urine also. Now who would like to take donkey's urine? Very difficult. But they have mentioned the properties. Ushnam tikshnam atho ruksham khatukam lavananvitam motram utsadane yuktam yuktam alopaneshu cha Yuktam asthabane mutram yuktam jabi virechane svedeshvapi cha tadyuktam anaheshu agadeshu cha udareshva charchassu gulma kushti kilasishu tadyuktam upanaheshu parishege tathaiva cha deepaniyam vishagnam cha krimighram chopa dishyate. You can see here the general properties of urine is mentioned, and it's mostly said to be used externally. Utsadana for some kind of massage on the alepana in certain external applications. In Vasti it is mentioned. So today you must have heard of fecal transplant, transplanting fecus one person to the other. It is called fecal transplant. This is done to restore the gut microbiome. So even modern medicine is doing certain things like this. Anybody heard of fecal transplant? Yeah, primarin from horse's urine is there. Yes. So I think these things should be studied for their potential new medicine development. Our acharyas have given, some. Yes, so I see one question. What are the 5 types of salts? Savarchala is black salt or sochel salt. So I'll type it down, sochel salt. Then Saindhava is rock salt. Vida is ammonium chloride. Earth salt is Audbhida, and sea salt is Samudra. Sea salt is actually the common salt that we use today, right? So these are the 5 types of salt. I think Hemali asked.
What is rock salt, sir? Earth salt? Rock
Rock
salt.
salt is Saindhava. It is coming. It's available in the market today.
Himalayan.
Himalayan also is rock salt, pink salt.
Then earth salt?
Earth salt I have not actually seen. Let me just check if I can show you a picture. I have not accessed it. Black salt we are aware of. I am basically using only. So let me just check where we can get it. It's actually coming from soil, alkaline soil. That's why it is called. But where it is available is. So this was actually used by cloth washers, this alkaline, Audbhida lavana. It's otherwise called as Pamshu lavana or Kacha lavana. It also has sodium chloride also in it. But I'm not able to, let me see if I can get a picture of that. Audbhida salt. Just a minute. Now Audbhida salt, I'm not able to see.
I think generally we use for cleaning of clothes and everything.
Yeah. It was used for cleaning of clothes, but I have not been able to handle it. I have not been able to handle it. So Dobis and all used to use it earlier.
Yes.
It is coming from some soil, and that is mixed with water, and then that liquid part is dried to obtain this salt. That much only I know about this. Exactly what it is chemically. It also has sodium chloride and some other substances, but it's not so familiar in Kerala, so I have not had a chance to really examine it. Rock salt is, black salt is different. Rock salt is very easily available today, so there is no confusion. If you ask for raw salt, you can get it in supermarkets also. So you have seen pink salt?
Himalayan pink salt.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. Himalayan is now more famous. So the black salt is known as Kala Namak. Have you heard Kala Namak? Also, available from some parts of Himalayas, from some mines in Himalayas. It's available also black salt today. Saindhava is rock salt actually. Saindhava is rock salt. It was originally obtained from Sindhu Nadi region. That is why the term Sindhu, Saindhava. So Saindhava also means horse. So in Sanskrit, we usually explain the importance of knowing the name according to context. So if somebody is sitting on a table eating food and asking Saindhava Manaya, then you must bring that is what some scholars have identified. Vidalavana as ammonium chloride. It was being used traditionally, so they did a chemical analysis and then they came to the conclusion that it is ammonium chloride. Because traditionally we never identified it chemically, people were using, okay, this is Vidalavana. Then they took it to some chemist, they analyzed and said, okay, this is actually what we call as ammonium chloride content is there in that. So that is how it was. Yeah, earth salt has. So in Ayurveda, we have not mentioned the other uses. We are basically talking about the medicinal uses. But in current practice, we see only mainly Saindhava is used commonly in Ayurvedic practices. All medicines, wherever salt is mentioned, we are using Saindhava. Similarly, the use of urine has also greatly reduced. So Yuktam Asthabane Mutram, Yuktam Chap, even Virechana Mutra is, we have one medicine called Gomutra Haritaki, which we use in many conditions. Even in certain types of blood pressure, it is helpful. It is helpful in ascites, it is helpful in fatty liver, helpful in obesity. Gomutra Haritaki. Haritaki is processed in Gomutra and then it is used. Svedeshu apicha tadyukta manaheshu agadeshu cha, it is used for Swedanakar. It is used for when you have anaha, udareshu, arshassu, in piles, in ascites, gulma, kushta, skin diseases. Tadyuktam upanaheshu parishege tathevacha. It is used as poultice. It is used to do, irrigation, parishega. Vipaniyam, it is very much stimulating digestion. It is said to be Vishagnam also, as well as Krimignam, removing the worms, Chupadeshite. So generally it is mentioned in Panduroga and anemias. It reduces kapha a lot and normalizes the movement of vata, marudam channel omaid, karshet pittam atho bhagam. It also expels the pitta. So it is, all these are considered to be the benefits of urine. Samanyena mayoktastu prathaktvena pravakshate. So these are the common properties of urine. I don't think we need to spend too much time on it because of its limited usage nowadays, except for Bastamutra and Gomutra. Bastamutra means Ajamutra. Only these two are commonly used today. The rest are not. But we can keep it in mind so that through some further research, we can probably identify, get some clues and do some analysis and find out, like Promarin, something new may be discovered. Avimutram satiktam syat snigdham pitta virodhicha. Ajam kashaya madhuram pathyam dosha nihandicha. The sheep's urine is generally not so much pitta aggravating because urine generally is a little hot in virya and it is supposed to aggravate pitta. But sheep's urine does not increase pitta much. Ajam kashaya madhuram pathyam doshan nihanticha. Goat's urine is considered. So we are all talking today about cow's urine, but in Ayurveda, goat's urine is considered really very pathyam, even more than, goat was considered the best, even for meat, for milk, for everything. Goat was considered much more closer and acceptable to the human than any other animal. So though Gomutram gained more currency as a very big medicine, goat is considered very important. So it is pathyam and it is specifying the doshas. Gavyam samadhuram kinjit doshagnam krimi kushtanot. Kandum cha shamayet pitam samyak doshodare hitamarshas. Yeah. So it's a good question. Tikshnatum is only one of the gunas of Visha. And one thing is, Visha is, there is a concept called Ushna Mushnena Sandhi. One Visha will pacify another Visha. That is one big concept in Ayurveda. So when you give Sthavara Visham, when you have Sthavara Visham, then you use Jangama Visha to cancel it. When you have Jangama Visha, you use Sthavara Visha to cancel it. So one poison can neutralize another because they are opposite in action. So urine is also in that way. It is the toxic substance. It's actually the Visha that we are throwing out of the body that we are using again as medicine. It's a good question. See, if kidney fails, then these things build up in our body as toxins, right? All the contents of urine, if they remain inside the body, it is toxic. But when it comes out and we are using it again, we are using it as an antidote. So that is the concept of Vishena Visham Hanyate. Sometimes Ayurveda tells Prabhava also, but I like the explanation Vishena Visham Hanya. That concept is also there. Another concept is, similarly you can see in Madhyam, in Madhatyayam, Charohi Adi Madhuryam Shighram Amlopa Samhitam. When you give Madhya and they get Madhatyaya, as a antidote we are giving Madhya itself. That is a treatment in Madhatyaya. Madhatyaya means alcoholism. So we say that because of the alcohol, the body has attained Charatvam. And if you give Amla Madhya, which is again Madhya only, it will actually neutralize Charohi Adi Madhuryam Shighram Amlopa Samhitam. So even in Madhatyaya, Madhya is given again for alcoholism as in one stage of the treatment.
Is it for de-addiction?
Yes, de-addiction. But no, we cannot give the same type of alcohol. It is a very sour type of Madhya is given. It's not just for de-addiction. First is to neutralize the effects of excess alcoholism. The physical discomforts are neutralized, and then the de-addiction process starts. For de-addiction, this grapes is used, then Brahmi is used. So many such substances are used. It takes time. You need counseling also. It cannot happen just by medications, but medications can support. So this is Gavyam, which is also said to be good for krimi, skin diseases. It is used even today. Some formulations are there where Gomutra is used. Arsha Shobhodara Grantu Saksharam Mahisham Saram. So Mahisha Mutra is said to be useful in arshas, piles, then swellings, ascites. Hastikam Lavanam Mutram. The urine of elephant is salty. Krimikushtinam hidam prashastam baddha vinmutra vishasleshma amayasham. It is good for constipation. It's good for visha. It's good for kapha diseases, for hemorrhoids. Satiktam Shwasakasaghram Arshoghram Chaushtramuchyate. So Satiktam Shwasakasaghram. The camel urine is very good for breathing disorders. Vachinam Tikta Kadugam Kushta Vrana Vishapaham. The horse urine is bitter and pungent. Self urine is not described in Ayurveda. Some people call that as Shivambupanam. But I here very clearly see when milk is described, human milk is described. But when urine is described, human urine is not described. Ayurveda has not considered human urine as fit for drinking. It's not, I've not come across, many people have asked this question before. I've done my own research. Some people have claimed that there are books which talk about Shivambupanam, that is self urine drinking, but I have not come across that. So, Kushtavrana Vishapaham, Vajinam, Kharamut, so this is good for skin diseases, for wounds, for toxicity. Kharamutram apasmarun madagraha vinashanam. So, donkey's urine is mentioned for epilepsy and certain mental diseases. So, these are very interesting observations. We need to find out through some chemical analysis and other things, what is the basis for all this. You can see camel urine for breathing disorders. The targets are very different, right? Certain urines for skin diseases, certain urine for mental diseases. Iti hoktani mutrani yatha samarthya yogadaha. So each of them have different capacities, and this has been described as such by the acharyas. I have thought about it a lot, and I think it is culturally not acceptable today unless we convert it into something like the Primarin. And the use of Gomutra also is becoming very controversial, and almost religious, cultural problems are always provoked when we discuss about these things. But we should look at it very medically. From Ayurvedic view and modern viewpoint also, anything that is medically useful can be administered in a hygienic and effective way. It should be accepted. That is why fecal transplant, I don't know if you heard of, I mentioned already, fecal transplant, fecal bacteriotherapy, fecal microbiota transplant is otherwise known as stool transplant. It is a process of transferring fecal bacteria and other microbes from a healthy individual into another individual. So that is also being done today. It is being done through like a procedure very similar to Vasti. Yes, that is the surprising thing. Not just by Rasa, they had other deeper powers of observation. They observed it not just by Rasa. So yes, Sumitra.
So in all the cases, looks like female version of the animal is mentioned. Any specific reason for that? In most of the cases.
Yes, I am not sure. You can see in modern use of mare also, the female mare is preferred. It's probably because of the menstrual cycles and other things, some chemical changes are happening. Maybe it is the presence of some hormone. This is what we need to study.
Okay. The commentary doesn't talk about it.
Commentary doesn't talk about it. And since we are not using it, there is no clear understanding of why.
Okay. So I got another question. It is regarding the previous portion that you mentioned for the anjana that we use for eyes. Is it safe to use it for cataract patients or patients who have undergone laser treatments? Still, is it okay to use such?
I didn't get your point.
In the previous section of the shlokas, we were discussing about the anjana for eyes. for Netra.
Yes.
Is it safe for the patients who is having cataract or undergone cataract or
This is only for dinacharya, for swastha.
Okay.
Dinacharya is for the swastha people. When you have any problems, you must follow the treatment vidhi. Now, coming to your question, there is in fact some description in the commentary which seems to also indicate the idea of hormonal changes in the women. Now, generally, Stri Mutra is said to be a little bit more lakhu than the Purusha Mutra. That concept is there. But that is not fully explaining how the chemistry may happen. Two reasons are given actually. One is that female Mutra is lakhu. The second is that Purusha Mutra is Guru, especially because of Shukra. Shukratvam is there. This is probably the reason why hormonal changes they may be implicating. They explained it in their own language. From modern findings, the horse's urine taken is during the pregnancy time, and they are using it basically for those hormonal changes that are present only in the female. So the absence of Shukra, even though females do have Shukra, but not in the way males have, that is supposed to influence. So I think they are referring to these kind of hormonal changes in the reproductive system that is influencing the quality of the urine. These things could also be studied. These are all new areas which need to be studied.
Thank you.
So, one more thing, like about oil pulling.
Yes.
Is it Ayurvedic process or like is it
Yeah,
advised?
in Ayurveda there are two things, Kavala and Gandusha. So Asancharyo Mukhe Purne Gandusha Kavala Unyatha. So in Kavala we use the oil and but many of the claims that are made today are a bit exaggerated. Too many things. Ayurveda has mentioned it for strengthening cleansing the mouth after the strengthening the teeth. Some minimal benefits are advised. But today it has sometimes become very fashionable and too many tall claims are made. I don't think all that will find support from Ayurveda. But it is an Ayurvedic procedure.
What's the difference between Kavala and the Gandusha?
Asancharyo Mukhe Purne. If you just hold it without moving, that is Gandusha. And Kavala is when you do what you call as a pulling.
Okay.
Asancharyo Mukhe Purne. Filling your mouth and without moving it, that is Gandusha, and the other one is Kavala. This is all part of Dinacharya. Okay, so I think we have concluded. These are a little bit difficult areas which we are discussing today, like Mutra and all that, because it's not so much in practice. Salts also, many of the salts are not in actual practice. But it's good to observe. We may need to replace them with many other salts that we are commonly using. Some preservatives, all those things should come under this category today, which is widely used. Many of these salts have gone into disuse. The use of urine has gone into disuse. But still, I think from a historical, scientific point of view, this information still is interesting. It may give clues for some research and collaboration. Okay, so we will continue on Monday. See, water, don't drink water for the sake of drinking water. When you have, if you are thirsty, the rule is you can drink at any time. If you are not thirsty just for the sake of drinking water, don't drink it. Now, vegido anya karyasyad. If you get vega, if you get that thirst urge, then you should never prevent from drinking water. No rule. Any time you can drink it. But don't forcefully. Today, people are drinking water without feeling any thirst also. So, too much of unnecessary drinking water is not acceptable. Okay. Namaste.
स्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणे अवतारवरिष्ठाय रामकृष्णाय ते नमः। रामकृष्णाय ते नमः।